It's not just, you know, hillbillies, like their view of things. And I was right in the middle of fighting for them to hire black writers and to do the second season about racial politics in America.
So this was
when they called me a racist.
Wow.
And I'm really mad.
Yeah.
I can't get rid of it, but I'm sublimating into trying to do something bigger and better for children of the world. That's
right on.
my cause.
It was their loss. That show is going to hell in a handbasket right now. It's not working. So it was their loss, not yours.
Well, it was my loss because they were my ideas that, you know, I sat there for 20 years going,
but you could
if I
your
ever
own
came
thing.
back, what would people be doing in this family?
Yeah.
So that was 20 years of me thinking and putting my sweat and blood into what would it be when they came back.
But you could take that now and create your own show.
I know. People were telling me, somebody said, you should do a new Roseanne show and say all your family was killed by illegal aliens.
That's right. Absolutely. But here's what I want to know. So that night you tweeted out this tweet.
Yeah, it was weird. No, I was in bed. I was asleep.
And then you wake up the next morning, all hell is breaking loose. What was your first thought and feeling? What did you think right away?
Well, my boyfriend was there, and so he saw it all, and my son too. I tweeted, when I woke up, they had said that I was the racist thing. And I tweeted back, I didn't know it was a big deal yet. I said, Muslim is not a race.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know she was black.
Right.
And then you could have knocked me over with a feather
I
when
bet.
they found out. And I was like, oh my God, I've stepped in some mud now, some stinky stuff.
Yeah.
And, but it wasn't like that too much. It was like I was asleep and I got awakened, what's the word? And it was like, put your fingers on that computer and type this. It was like not even me.
Yeah.
And it was like important that I did it. And so I did it, and then I was thinking, man, you have made a Q-like sentence that holds a lot of nuance. And then when they came down on me the next day, I was just already so shook up. I was so shaken because they were saying that it was.
I know.
They reduced it to the most common denominator of idiocy.
Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't say anything like that.
No.
And then shortly thereafter, people started tweeting pictures of Valerie Jarrett next to, I forget her name, that Helena Bonham Carter, who was the character in that movie, which happens to be my favorite movie. Now I can never talk about it, I guess. But it is my favorite movie because Rod Serling wrote it, and to me, always, it was about the Jews.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's my favorite movie, about when you deny your slaves the ability to read. And it's also about black people, and it's also about slaves. People still have slaves. And, they have them in Iran.
Yeah. You don't hear anything about that, though, from these people.
No. And
are you over that now? Are you past that? Or does it still bother you?
It bothers me to have been slimed by people who were saying, you don't need black writers. That makes me mad. And I do want an apology. And they owe me an apology. Yeah. I don't want my show back because whatever.
Right.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
And I could never go back now with the things they've said about me.
Yes.
And nor would I want to. But I just want to, well, you can know me for 20 years and who I am and what I've done.
Did the cast defend you? The cast of that show, they didn't defend you?
No.
Why not?
They piled on.
Really?
Yeah. It was,
were you surprised by that?
Hell, huh?
Were you surprised they did not defend you, the cast of the show?
No, because I was like this. When the network called, they said, you're going to have to talk to the network. And I'm like, ah, crap. That's when I started smoking again. I hadn't even been smoking.
I don't blame you.
So I go, give me a dang cigarette, you know. I'm out in the alley smoking on talking.
Yeah.
And the first thing they said to me is, what? And it was real arrogant. Not the way you talk to somebody who's just giving you a #1 show.
Right. That's right.
Not the way. But
That's right.
it was a man, and you know, he's beta.
Beta.
Beta, yeah. No respect for
Yeah.
me as a woman, as an artist, or somebody who has put their own butt on the line for things they never would do.
Making
They
a
don't
lot
have
of
the
money for them,
guts.
too.
Yeah. But, you know, the first question he says to me, what possible excuse do you have for such an egregious blah, blah, and then I stopped listening then. But I was like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah.
God is bringing this down on me in 20 different directions. And God did bring it down on me in 20 different directions. But I was holding on fast, and I'm like, God, I know you did it for a reason. I know you woke me up in the middle of the night to write that.
Well, he didn't
'Cause I
do
felt
it.
it was God.
He allowed it to happen to bring your attention to something else.
Yes, he did.
So that's why it happened.
I know, and
Yeah.
I knew that the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I was there in my mom's house, and my mom, she's very religious too, you know. And I'm like, I'm hanging on till the light.
That's
At the
right.
end of the I know it's going to be something good.
That's right.
They can't shake my faith. They can't destroy me, and they definitely can't silence me.
That's right.
And so that won't happen. But
That's right.
I thought, well, this subject is so large that I need to address it. And so that is why I was invited to address the Knesset in Jerusalem, and I will be speaking about the left
Oh, good.
and how they, like the women in Hollywood, congratulated the woman who fired me, the actors.
Amazing.
And I'm like, man, you just brought a world of hurt down on yourself. That's how I saw it.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, you just brought a world of hurt down on you. And that's how I look at all of it. And it's like, you know, they're going to have to deal. It's not my problem. I
Yep,
don't care. It's
that's right.
not none of my business. But here was the kicker. Valerie Jarrett goes on the TV, and she goes, it didn't bother me a bit. After I know what phone calls were made,
Right.
because Bob Iger, the head of ABC, and let's talk about, well, I won't, but they all said it in print. How's that for smart?
Amazing.
Every one of them said it in print. Bob Iger said in print that Valerie Jarrett was the first call he made before he fired me. Okay, well, there's in print. You told your story.
That's amazing.
So
So let me add this staff. I mean the
she
cast
said it
members.
didn't bother her at all.
I'm sure it didn't. She got more pleasure watching a white woman who's a Jew get fired than she did with anything else. White people are the most hated.
A Jewish woman, I don't consider myself white. Most Jews
A
don't.
Jewish woman. But listen.
A Jewish woman
white-
who defends Israel. They took me down.
Yeah.
And Trump. And the reason I voted for Trump is because he said he would move the embassy to Israel. So it was
And he
very,
did it.
very, and he did it.
He did it. I was going to ask you about the Great White Hope.
I love that you say that to people. It gets them going, don't it?
I know, they hate that. I love the Great White Hope, by the way.
I love him
It's
too.
the best thing that could have happened to America right now
I
than
think
any
so,
other
too.
thing.
Absolutely.
But I want to go.
And to Israel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thank him for
Israel
that.
is
When he
very
called me
fortunate.
to congratulate me on having a #1 show,
Yes.
I thanked him on behalf of my mother and my whole family that
Right
he
on.
recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And
About
then
time.
he followed through, 6,000 years about
Yeah.
enough. And then he followed through by moving the U.S. Embassy there, and I'm going there.
Right on.
And that is, you don't know, that's like, well, I'm sure you can imagine and relate it to your upbringing culture, but that is historical redemption
Yeah.
of the Jewish people.
Yeah.
And
I can imagine.
I just love him for that.
Me too. man, I pray for him all the time
Me
because
too. I pray.
they
for
hate
too.
him.
Oh yeah, they do.
They hate him.
They hate him because he did that.
I want
Do you think that's why they hate him? I think that's a large
no.
reason of why they hate him.
That's one of the reasons, but they hate him because he is a straight,
Yeah.
white, conservative, Christian man of power. He put the country first. He's having a great impact on the country for the good, and those people never intended for that to happen. So they hate him because of that. He's a straight, white, conservative, Christian man of power, and he doesn't back down. Most men are like beta men, and they would back down. They'll be afraid to speak up. If they're attacked, they want to attack back. They just take it. He's not like that.
Here's why I love him. Plus those things, like you said, he's going after child trafficking.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, when I tell people that, they always stop a little bit. I always like to tell Democrats that.
Yeah.
He's helping children of the world. Now, I align myself with people who are against child sex slavery and any kind of slavery.
Yeah.
You can't have that anymore. It's needless.
Yeah, that's right.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Amazing. That is amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
Hollywood in a writer's room, hon.
I'm gonna tell you why they did
Okay.
that.
Why?
But there's no such thing as isms. No racism, no sexism, no homophobism, no Islamophobism, no deadbeat dadism. And the reason for that, because the Bible says it too, our battle is a spiritual battle.
Right.
It's a warfare. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities
Right.
and wicked places and high places. And so, and there are good men and women who are not dealing with that, they have overcome, and there are those who have not, right? And of all races.
That's right.
And when I was growing up, we knew that. They never used the word racism when I was growing up. They said, no, that's a bad one, or that's a good one, that's evil, or that's good. And so there you can solve the problem if you know what it is.
That's right.
But the children of the lie made up those words about racism and sexism because once they made it up, there's no way you can solve it. How do you prove somebody's a racist or not when it's just a hateful person? And so they are lying about racism. It's never been about racism. It's just people. You have bad, evil people. You have good ones. So that's why I say there's no such thing as
But
racism.
also, I understand that, but then you got to get into.
I'm gonna tell you why they don't hire them.
Okay.
Because they tell me in secret, and I know already, that when you hire black people, you run the risk of being sued. You run the risk because if you correct them, they're gonna get mad. They're going to accuse you of racism, and they're going to sue you. They don't show up on time. They don't work very hard, and nobody want to put up with that. And if you try to, if you try to correct them, you got to fight them.
My experience with black writers is the opposite of what you said.
It is?
Yes.
Have you ever corrected them, told them, no, you're wrong, or you need to be here on time, and you need to do this?
I've never had to say be here on time. I've had to say, wait a minute, let's take this to, I like teaching writers.
Yeah.
So I say, you know, my biggest note to writers is, no, that is a class issue that has to be addressed.
Yeah.
But people
It wasn't like that, Roseanne, when I was growing up, though.
People of color who've worked for me it's been like we just talk like people.
Yeah.
And I can tell when somebody's a good writer. And when I find one, man, that's a joy, you know.
I bet.
That is a gift to the world.
Yes.
And I love teaching them. So I haven't had that problem. I've had that problem with old Jewish guys that don't show up on time and show up drunk and, you know, got a hooker in the other room while they're supposed to be writing.
Amazing.
You know, but I haven't had that experience.
I have.
Okay, I'm sure you have.
Believe me. And it started right at when they broke up the family. Because when I was growing up, my grandfather taught us.
You notice he knows his own people. As in he knows what they're like. He can cut through the grease with his own people. And she's the same with her people. she's Jewish. She knows what the old Jewish guys are like. She calls out the Jew, the creepy leftist Jew in Hollywood. So they'll be like the Weinsteins, yeah, all the ones lately. But she's Jewish, and she's like an Israeli national Jew. He's like black from the south. He hasn't had the same experience that she's had, and vice versa. But yeah, they know each other. But that's so funny about the.
As my grandmother taught her, you got to be on time, you got to work hard, appreciate what you have, appreciate the job, treat it as though it's your own. And that's paid off for me, to have a good attitude about everything. But once they broke up the family, most of the blacks lost that. They don't have that attitude anymore. They think they are owed something because they're black. You know, give it to me just because I'm black, and they don't have to earn it. That's gone now.
Do you think that that's what's her name? Oh God, Candace Owens. She's always talking, who I really like.
Yeah.
She's always talking about victim mentality.
Yes.
And at a time in my life when I was a big leftist.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Are you a conservative now?
I had the big victim mentality.
Yeah, they have it.
Yeah.
Black people, not all, but most feel like victims, and the liberals have made them, the Democratic Party have made them feel like victims by always giving them something and telling them, it's not your fault, it's someone else. And so now they've fed them so much free stuff, they feel like victims now.
Well, I think that what they were doing was sabotaging them.
Of course.
They were
for
sabotaging
votes.
the black community to split it so it didn't have a strong vote.
That's
and
right.
they also sabotaged the connection between the Jewish and black community. That one was too strong for them.
Yeah.
So they had to take that down, because, unity is the worst thing to the slave owner.
That's right, 100%. Do you consider yourself a conservative now?
I just say Jew.
Oh,
I
okay.
live by my people teachings.
Yeah.
And so I do think that I'm conservative in some things, and as far as law, I'm very conservative
Yeah.
on the law. But I'm liberal in the way that I think everybody can reboot their life.
It can
if
change.
if they repent and decide to change.
Absolutely.
So I try to, so I'm a
Absolutely.
little of both probably.
I used to be when I was a baiter, I was a Democrat. And then I went to God and he changed my heart, took away the anger. Mm-hmm. And I could no longer identify with the platform of the Democratic Party. And so I went back and I said, you know what, God, I have one more favor. He's like, what is it? I said, you changed my heart. I can no longer identify with the Democratic Party. So I looked at the Republican platform, God, country, family, Constitution, and all that. And I can agree. I said, I don't want to be a Democrat anymore. I'm sorry. He said, oh, don't worry about it. I forgive you. And I became a Republican. And it's been amazing. That's when all
I
hell
guess I
broke loose.
became a sort of Republican since I voted for Trump, but
The Great White Hope.
yeah, well, to us, he's the great Jewish hope.
Oh, well, he's my Great White Hope.
Okay.
Do you think you think he's going to win? You predict he will win in 2020 to be reelected?
If things go right in this world, but I don't know.
I believe so.
I would think so.
I
love that since he started talking about the wall, his support from Hispanics went up 19%.
Yeah, I know.
From legal immigrants.
They call my radio show. They love him.
I mean, the Democrats are so arrogant and stupid, and also they're very, I know you don't like to think there's racist, but they presume a lot about other culture, people's culture. And
they don't care.
Presume, no, they don't care. And I loved that you were out there talking about, the illegals who come here, they don't go live in Beverly Hills with you.
That's right.
They come to working class, black neighborhoods, and then we bear the brunt of the things they do.
Believe me.
Increase in violence, rape, crime,
And running
drugs.
blacks out of their own neighborhoods and everything with all that violence and stuff.
But the Democrats have no interest in what
No.
people on the ground and working people live through.
Yeah.
They don't. It's boring to them. They got to jet off to Afghanistan and check on their poppies.
That's right. We were unfortunately coming to an end.
I love being with you.
Me too, I'm enjoying this. So I got to ask you some quick questions.
Okay, they better not be nasty.
They won't.
Okay.
What is a man?
A man is the greatest thing in the world. A man is a leader, a comforter. He can get your circuits right. He can help you with your kids. He sets your kids. I mean, what my boyfriend does with my children, I could not do.
That's amazing.
You know, he's a real guy, a real man, and he is a brilliant musician. So I have
Right.
music in my life and a strong person to lean on when I'm really weak, you know.
Yeah.
I am pretty well emotionally weak woman, but not my family. Oh, don't mess with my family.
Right on. What is love?
Love is an energy that the universe emits, and all we have to do is just soak it up. It's the natural order of everything.
Yeah. Will you vote for the Great White Hope this time around? Next time around?
Hell yes.
That's right. And my final question, did you have fun?
I did, and I also love to talk on such a deep level with you and see a little bit better who you really are. It was
Right on.
great.
Thank you. I've
Thanks for
enjoyed it.
having me.
And thank you for coming. And thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, share. And we have all kind of product, T-shirts and things on there that you can
I bought
buy.
your T-shirts and books.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Cash.
That's amazing. In cash?
Well, I mean, I paid. I didn't take them as gifts.
Oh, okay.
You know, I wanted to pay.
Well, we'll put it back
I
in
want to
the nut.
support.
Well, thank
and
you.
I want to come and speak at your deal. But let's talk about mentoring some writers too.
Okay.
Okay.
I would love that.
Yeah,
and
I
I know
will.
some people who are writers. They would love that too.
I would like to mentor young black women who are funny.
We know some.
To put it in, get it in script form. I
Nice.
can help them.
Right on. We're going to make sure that happens.
Okay, good.
All right. And don't forget, folks, thank you. Let us hear from you. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.
See ya.
And thank you all for coming. That's amazing.
Yay!
Next time on The Fallen State.
Would you go and get in bed and have sex with the guy too, or just Brittany?
It just depends person to person. I'm not necessarily caught up on him being.
Okay, stuff that. All right. Whoa. Still getting used to this stuff. All right. Guys, help us out. Share or subscribe. Hit the like, share, all that stuff. Green Man, Armchair Bear. What do you want to call it? Still mucking around with the cameras and stuff like that. But I was going to upload this stuff raw. And we'll see how we go. Those guys, both Jesse Lee Peterson and Roseanne, have fantastic instincts. They're dead on about pretty much everything. And I don't know how anyone calls her a racist. That's ridiculous. Not that it's a real thing anyway. He points that out. But yeah, she's very, very smart, very wise. I know on Rogan, she went on Rogan's thing and she said that she was in a car accident when she was young. So, you know, it'd be amazing to see if that hadn't happened. But, you know. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. So, yeah, please like, share and subscribe. Share it around. I'll try and do these a bit more regularly. Cheers.